Hi YouTubers, this is another video from me, Evelyn. Today we're going to be reviewing a new K-drama fantasy series called Gyeongseong Creatures. It came out on Netflix recently. It stars the main two leading actors of Park Seo-joon and so-hee. With so-hee, I've personally only seen her in the other K-drama series thriller, My Name. With Park Seo-joon, I saw him in another K-drama called What's Up with Secretary something, I can't remember. So it's a temporary piece. It's meant to be set in when the Japanese were occupying Korea at the time. And I don't know if this is right, but apparently Gyeongseong was the old name for Seoul. The story takes place there where the Japanese are colonizing Korea, but we find out the Japanese are experimenting on people, making them into creatures by giving them this weird type of worm virus, which looks a little bit disturbing, and it kind of reminds me of something else. Which put your comments down below what this virus kind of looks like to you. So Park Seo-joon, he stars as Jang Tae-sung. He's making do. He's the owner of the House of Treasures. It's basically a pawn shop. Bring things in to get money from. Hopefully I don't want to misconstrue a lot of things here. And he has some rare items as well. He thinks he has it all done. He's like trying to survive because of course the show is talking about the brutality when the Japanese occupied Korea, the abuse that the Korean people had. I don't know the precise history, just only some fleeting things that I've heard, that for a long period of time that the Koreans couldn't even speak their own language. They were given Japanese names, so they was under the oppression. So we get the beginning scenes that the Japanese are like killing a load of Koreans, tossing them into the burner. The reason why they're creating these creatures, I don't know, I've only seen episode 1, so it's just a review. I kind of like the feels. It kind of reminds me of the reboot series of Interview with the Vampire, so I kind of like that vibe. So it starts off that Jang Tae-sung, he's making deals with the Japanese, and he has other workers working with him of Miss Now. Now this actress of Kim Hae-suk, she's been around a lot of dramas at the moment. That she was in Strong Girl Namsoon, My Demon, and now this one she's working hard, because I always find that they kind of reuse these kind of certain the actors of an older ilk, which I find is really good. It's giving them more longevity in the acting. She works as also helping him in the shop. And this other guy, which I have no idea who he is, I know I'll put his name here because we can't miss him. So he has 2 other people working and another young boy servant, which I want to find his name because I think I've seen him in another K-drama. I think it was a high school drama. So they all tell Jang Tae-sung, don't be so cocky, be careful with the Japanese. And he's like, oh, it's all fine, until he gets to the party, and then he's tortured by a Japanese lieutenant colonel, in which this actor, I know he's not Japanese, for God's sake. I know for a fact that he's Korean, but so I'm doing it on the fly here. I'm trying to look for the names. Commissioner Ishikawa. Now the Korean actor's name is Kim Do-hyun. I'll verify this. He tells Jang Tae-sung, I need you to look for this woman, because Jang Tae-sung, he's the king of information. He knows everything. So these Japanese commander, whatever, Ishikawa, tells him to find her, and he does that. At the same time, when he goes back to the House of Treasures, he knows he's being followed, because the commissioner of Ishikawa says you have until the petals of the flower falls down to find her. If not, you're dead. Everything you've owned and amassed is going to be taken away from you. And basically they're going to kill him up by sending him to the Japanese Imperial Army. And it's basically death. So that we have that really stark contrast. So we have the other story of so-hee and this other guy that she's working with, which I'll put his name there, another actor you'll recognize, that they specialize in finding people. Now so-hee's character of Eun-kyung, she's looking for her mom. Now she's disappeared, because there's another theme going on in episode 1 that all these women are disappearing, and we find out later on in the episode they're captured by the Japanese military for experimentation. Because initially on episode 1 the Japanese colonel gets a message, I guess, from the emperor to shut down all the operations they're doing. So he tells all his soldiers, burn everything, we need to burn everything. But there's one particular soldier that doesn't do that. He takes the vials of this virus that turns some women into creatures. They seem to be only taking women so far. I don't know what's the connection with this. So he does his own thing, and we see that the woman that has been captured, I want to find this actress name where she's there like really scared. How I look like Bambi is the most kind of like strange, not strange, when I see some of the Japanese and the Koreans when they do that makeup and stuff, they look like anime characters. But when she's there in despair that she sees other women being dragged away, she doesn't want to die, and she's like crying there in the jail cell for somebody to help her. So I'll see if I find her name and put it up here, because I just saw this episode yesterday and I've just finished work right now, so I'm like recording this episode. If not, I'll never ever do this because of what's her name. Actually, let's see if I have pictures here. Here we are. Claudia Kim, South Korean model. I think that's her stage name. Yeah, so she's South Korean. What Bambi eyes that she has. So Han-cheul, his character, and her partner, they end up getting hired by Jang Tae-sung, but he doesn't know that he's the one that he hired, because he knows he's being surveillance by Commissioner Ishikawa, so he's trying to lose the tails. At the same time, he wants to sell everything because he doesn't want to take his chances and he wants to save his people. So he thinks Han-cheul's character of Eun-kyung is one of them, and they have a little bit, well, not a little bit, they have kind of like a fighting scene in which Jang Tae-sung knocks off her hat and sees she's a girl, and that typical thing of I was hitting a girl, and they have a horrible exchange where Jang Tae-sung basically tells Eun-kyung that like whoever you want from me, it's not my business, because like Han-cheul's character wants to ask the king of information if he knows how to find her mom, and he says I basically don't deal with low matters. But when he finds out at the end of the episode that Han-cheul's character is one of the specialists of finding people, because he wants to use both of these people to find the woman of Maida, of the Japanese commissioner, so to help save his skin. So he does kind of like a deal at the end. I'll help you find your mom and you help me find this woman. So at the end of episode 1, we see that 2 women get taken into separate jail cells where they're shown food. Of course, these women haven't eaten anything, so they eat without question. One woman ends up dying from the effects because they inject this virus worm thing into, I guess, the water. They drink it. And the other woman, she gets affected, but she starts to transform. So it's not a big leap. I'm not going to spoil it. So the essence of this episode is about the Japanese in around 1945 in a fictional sense. Of course, there's no such thing as creatures. Getting Japanese women and turning them in, giving them a virus that turns them into creatures, and the expectation, I guess, they want to weaponize it. So that's the most typical thing. The purpose is why? I don't know. This series apparently has taken 2 years to film, and apparently with COVID and everything, it's been delayed, and they go do a season 2. Season 2, hopefully, is not the one that's coming out in January. Now they're taking part 1 and part 2. I have a feeling it's a proper season 2 to finish the story. Similar, I think they're doing similar to the Alchemy of Souls per se, that they're gonna do a season 2 to close up the story. So episode 1 was my feelings. Yeah, it was good. I'm not a big fan of temporary pieces, say the mid-40s, whatever, because it's kind of like when you watch the Titanic, these films like based on true stories, it's gonna be a bad ending. And of course Hollywood likes to dramatize things, so they're like, okay, we make you fall in love with these characters, but it's gonna be a bad ending. But since this is fantasy based, we can hope for a good ending. So leave your comments down below. Any new viewers, really appreciate we can hit the subscribe button. Leave your comments down below. And to the current viewers, subscribers, a big thank you. So stay safe.